So wherever we are in the world, we are in relationship to each and every sentient being. Why? We may live far away, we may not see one another, but our actions influence the people around us, who influence the people around them, and through the ripple effect, things go out into the universe. So just being concerned about our own welfare and our own happiness when we exist in relationship to all sentient beings who want happiness and not suffering. Just thinking about ourselves is really very limited. So when we open our mind and see how we're related to everybody and care about them, then automatically we want to gear what we think and say and do towards the welfare of all beings. And from a Buddhist perspective, the best way to do this is to attain Buddhahood. Thus, we aspire to complete the path and become fully awakened. And that is our bodhicitta motivation. So I'm very happy to be invited to contribute to this forum of discussion of scientists and Buddhists. And the present theme, as I understand it, is what is happiness, which is a very interesting topic because we all want happiness and we don't want suffering. But I think there's a lot of confusion in the world about what exactly happiness is. So in one of the Buddhist recitations that we do on the four immeasurables, we talk about love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And the first line of love says, "May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes." So we say that, but what is happiness and what are its causes? And this is where I think there's a lot of confusion in the world, because if we look, our main view is that happiness comes from outside of ourselves. Yeah, we have, it comes from sense objects. You know, we see things or people that we like, happiness. We hear music and sounds and sweet words of encouragement and love and so on. You know, hear with our ears, that's happiness. Smell sweet smells, happiness. Taste good food, especially good Italian food. It's delicious. Um, you know, that's happiness. Feel nice things on our body, the right temperature, and so on. Happiness. And that's what we usually think of as happiness, sense pleasure. Yeah. The difficulty with that is, first of all, we're reliant on external objects. and we cannot control everything in the world. We try to, yeah, and we want to control our own immediate environment so that the sense objects we like come our way, and that the ones we don't like we push away. Okay, but we can't. We try to control that, but we can't. Yeah, because people do what people do. Things have their own systems of cause and effect. We can't control it. So that's one problem with relying on external things. A second problem is, even if we could get everything we wanted, all those things are impermanent. They're changing moment to moment, and they all go out of existence. Yeah, so making our happiness dependent on things we can't control and on things that by their very nature are changing all the time, how are we ever going to arrive at the happiness that we want? Yeah. Also, so that's one problem. Another problem is, what is the feeling of happiness? And when we talk about, um, love, which is wanting sentient beings, ourself included, to have happiness and its causes, we often think that the feeling of happiness is this kind of giddiness. It's like, oh, I won a prize, I got a promotion, somebody acknowledged how wonderful I am, things turned out the way I wanted. Ooh, this is exciting. Yeah, and it's this giddiness. Yeah, from a Buddhist viewpoint, that kind of feels good for a while, but again, it's reliant on external things. It's impermanent. And the more we rely on that, the more problems we have when it changes. Yeah, because we look at the things, the external things that make us happy, and you'd have your daydream about, oh, if only this would happen, then I would have happiness. But imagine having that thing that you think is happiness all the time. Okay, so I think, in our culture, falling in love is like the ultimate happiness. This person loves you, they think you're fantastic, and you have your daydreams of, whatever. You go skiing, you lie on the beach, da 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 da. Okay, so, but the thing is, imagine that person that you think is so absolutely wonderful, that's going to make you happy forever and ever and ever. Okay, now imagine being with that person 24 hours straight. Yeah, no breaks. You're chained together. Yeah. After 24 hours, are you still as happy as you were in the first few minutes of being with them? Or are you going, I'd like a break. I need some time to myself. I need time to think. This isn't really happiness. Anyway, this person, they do all these things I also don't like. Yeah? So then your happiness falls apart. So, yeah. And another problem with this kind of happiness that depends on external things is that in our minds, yeah, we think more and better is the way to go. Okay? So I want more money, I want more esteem, I want more status, I want more love, I want more appreciation. Okay? I want a better house, I want a better partner, I want a better this and a better that. Okay? So the mind is actually, even when we get what we want, in a state of continual dissatisfaction, because our mantra is more and better, more and better. I want more and better. Yeah. And even if we get more and better, we're still dissatisfied because we still want more and better. Yeah. Do you know anybody who has enough money? Yeah. Nobody has enough money. You can always use more. Okay. So there's this state of dissatisfaction. So, okay, I just shot down everything we all thought was happiness. So then what does the Buddha say? Yeah, there's got to be happiness somewhere. Here we're looking at a sense of happiness that comes from two factors. One is having a peaceful mind, and two is having a sense of purpose in our life. Okay, so having a peaceful mind, what makes us peaceful? Well, more and better doesn't. Okay, but what makes us peaceful? When I look at my own experience, when I act according to my own values and my own principles, when I live an ethical life, then my heart is peaceful. Yeah. When I don't live in an ethical life, yeah, my heart is not peaceful. And the thing is that no matter how much other people praise us and tell us how absolutely wonderful and magnificent we are, yeah, another group is going to criticize us. But at the end of the day, we're the ones who lives with ourselves, and we're the people who know what our actual motivation is. Yeah, and when we have a rotten motivation, when we're being self-centered, when we're manipulative, when we're taking advantage of other people to get what we want, we may get what we want on the outside temporarily, but inside the mind isn't peaceful. Yeah. When we act according to our own values, when we are honest, when we are truthful, when we speak with kindness, when we go out of our way to help others, we feel good about ourselves. Yeah. If we think that if we do those things, you know, where we restrain from harming others and where we're kind to them, and we expect a thank you, we're falling into the same trap of relying on something external to ourselves. Yeah. But from a Buddhist viewpoint, you know, when we live according, to our own values, then there's a sense of internal peace and kindness to others, the feeling that we get from connecting with them and making a positive difference in somebody's life. That feeling is its own reward. We don't need external thank yous and plaques and certificates and, to be announced in front of the world of how wonderful we are. Yeah, because there's this sense of peace inside of our own heart. Yeah. And then the second factor, purpose. Yeah. When we have a sense of purpose, and not just any sense of purpose, yeah, because we can have a sense of purpose of, I'm going to swindle somebody and to get what I want. No, I'm not talking about that. But when we have a sense of purpose of making a positive contribution to society or making a positive contribution to somebody else's life, yeah, even if it's something small, that sense of purpose brings a good feeling in our heart. We're not wandering all around in our life going, what in the world am I doing? Yeah, but we know what we're doing. We wake up in the morning and, what we do in Buddhist practice is we set our motivation as soon as we wake up, and say, today, as much as possible, I'm not going to harm others. as much as possible, I'm going to benefit them. And as much as possible, I'm going to try to increase my love and compassion for every being in an equal way, not just the people I like, yeah, but to have a sense of our place in the world, even with living beings who we don't know. In other words, knowing how our own actions matter and they influence the people around us, who in turn influence other people, and so on. You have the ripple effect. Yeah. So when we have a sense of purpose to create joy in this world, to alleviate misery in this world, yeah, then we know what we're doing is something beneficial. And that sense of purpose brings fulfillment. Yeah. So I think from a Buddhist perspective, yeah, the sense of fulfillment is what we mean by happiness. It's not the giddy, oh good, ooh, ooh. I mentioned in a journal, I got an award, I got a promotion, this is fantastic, the person I love called me Whippy. No, you know, what uh, what brings that sense of fulfillment is having a purpose that goes beyond our own limited welfare. Yeah, having a purpose and we to contribute to the well-being of others. Now we may go, well, what in the world can I contribute? We all have our own talents. We all have our own fields of knowledge, and to contribute to others' welfare in that way, gives us a sense of purpose. Even having the purpose of being kind on a moment to moment level with the people around us is a sense of purpose, and that can make a difference. Yeah, just a small story to illustrate this, because we don't actually always know how our actions are going to affect others. Yeah, and sometimes we can do things that really have quite a profound effect. So a friend once told me that when she was younger, she was very confused about life. She was very depressed. Yeah, and she was almost to the point of considering suicide. And she said one day she was just walking down the street. Somebody who she didn't know was coming the other way, and that person smiled at her. Yeah, and she said, wow, somebody I didn't know smiled at me. And all thoughts of suicide vanished at that moment because there was connection with another human being who she could tell wished her well, even though that person didn't even know her. Yeah? So these small things that we can do on a moment-to-moment basis can really create happiness and peace in other people's minds and bring us a sense of fulfillment, because what we do, even these small things, has a positive effect on other people. Okay? So that in brief, yeah, is about what happiness is. In terms of, because I said that love is happiness, love is thinking, may all sentient beings have happiness in its causes. Okay, so that feeling of fulfillment is happiness. Yeah, and it lasts. Yeah, and it isn't uh, open to the upheavals of the atmosphere that we're in and the circumstances that we're in. The causes of happiness, again from a Buddhist viewpoint, is acting in an ethical way. Yeah, living according to our values and principles, caring about other people, opening our hearts to other people, and that causes happiness now. Yeah, it brings a sense of purpose, it brings a sense of peace, and that it creates happiness in the future for not only others, but also ourselves. Okay, so something to think about in our lives.